Hey, it's Adriana McLean here with FulfillingStrategy.com, where we talk about everything strategy, and we believe that strategy is not a planning document, it's the process of daily discipline. So I'm really excited to share with you my latest post on 5 powerful ways to use customer insights to inform strategy. This is the first installment in a 3-part series on how to maximize customer insights and feedback to inform your strategic planning process and guide your business decisions. So I think few people would debate that customer insight is really an essential part of formulating your business strategy. A customer-centric strategy is no doubt a winning strategy. And I would like to share with you one of my favorite quotes. This is from Mahatma Gandhi about customers. And I think it just says everything so beautifully. So he says, "A customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption of our work. He is the purpose of it. He is not an outsider of our business. He is part of it. We are not doing him a favor by serving him. He's doing us a favor by giving us the opportunity to do so." Isn't that amazing? So while there are many ways to use customer insights, I'd like to focus on 5 specific ways you can use insights to help you increase value and drive growth. So the first one is the concept of jobs to be done. So first, let's start with what Clayton Christensen, the late Harvard professor and renowned authority on disruptive innovation, has coined jobs to be done. So Clayton's concept of jobs to be done is that customers don't really want to buy your products and services. They hire them to do a job. So understanding the job to be done is what matters most. So why is this important? Products and technology come and go, but jobs to be done persist. So for example, let's consider the job to be done of help me create and share my letters and correspondence. So these solutions have evolved over time from pen and paper to typewriters to word processing machines to computers and tablets. The products and technologies come and go, but the job to be done persists, right? So if you were a large manufacturer of typewriters and you defined your business as, we make typewriters, you would eventually see your market evaporate. However, if you understood what job your customer was trying to get done and defined your business by that job to be done, you would open up to strategies that would provide the best products and services to help your customer with that job. So your offering would evolve with the needs of your customer. So understanding jobs to be done also helps you identify your real competitors. So using this typewriter example, by moving from defining your competition as other typewriter manufacturers to looking at who else provides solutions for helping people document letters and correspondence, you get a more comprehensive picture of who your competition is, what other choices your customers can make. So gaining insights from your customers about how they view the job to be done can also open up opportunities to differentiate yourself in the market. So by having a deeper understanding of the customer's experiences in acquiring the products and services to help them, you can create the essential products and services that ensure the customer has a perfect experience regarding that job to be done. You'll evolve from a product brand to a purpose brand. So the customer ultimately will think of your brand when they need to hire for that job. The second thing I'd like to talk about is customer journey mapping. Another great way, right, to help you gain insights that'll make you more valuable to your customers is to use customer journey mapping. Mapping is also a great way to understand more deeply the jobs to be done approach that we just covered. So what is the goal of a customer journey map? A journey map will document how customers experience your business through various stages of their journey. So these stages include the awareness stage, which occurs before a customer has even interacted with your brand, and continues through to the retention phase, understanding how they experience your brand after the purchase. So by documenting your business from the customer's viewpoints, you can identify pain points to alleviate and opportunities to create more meaningful value to your customers. So customer journey mapping can be as straightforward or as complex as you let it become. So here are a few considerations. First, especially with B2B business mapping, Start with mapping just one critical customer segment. So you may have several segments and you may have several roles within that segment. Just start with mapping the one that is most important to your business. Secondly, know your goal. What insights do you want to gain? Not all phases of the customer's journey are equally important, so prioritize based on impact. And remember, this is the customer's journey, and you should document the experience from their perspective. And talk to your customers. You can draft up the journey as you think it is, but the whole point is to talk to your customers to find out the truth and where you have gaps in their expectations and your performance. And lastly, use data where possible to enrich your understanding of the customer journey. Besides talking to customers, look for places inside your organization where you have quantitative data, like net promoter scores, cart abandonment rates, and customer service satisfaction scores, for example. Customer journey mapping will illuminate those moments of truth in your customers' experiences and highlight opportunities to create more value for your customer that will ultimately drive sales. And in my post, I have a link to a download in a PowerPoint format of a customer journey map template that you're going to want to check out. So be sure you check out the link to this episode. Another way to use customer insights is in capability analysis. So as part of most strategic planning processes, companies will define the organizational and business capabilities that are required to execute strategy and meet business goals. They'll also assess how well they perform these capabilities to address any gaps in performance. It is essential to test the internal evaluation of your capabilities against the perspective that matters most, your customer's assessment. So survey your customers to understand how they think you're doing concerning these capabilities versus the competition. Ask your customers how important these capabilities are to them to ensure you know what truly matters most. So in my post, if sales growth is a priority, this process needs your attention stat. I provide a complete guide on evaluation capabilities and how to use customer feedback on those capabilities to identify growth opportunities. I also include a really good capabilities analysis download that you're going to want to have in your toolkit. So be sure to check out that post. I will include a link in these notes. The fourth opportunity for using customer insights is competitive threats. One of the best ways to identify competitive threats during your strategic planning process is through your customers and your potential customers' lenses. Management teams will typically do an internal competitive assessment, which is excellent, but it's impossible to set aside our own biases to really get a truly objective assessment of the competition and the threats they impose. How your customers and potential customers view the competition is really the only perspective that matters. So here are some ways you can leverage your customers' insights. First, talk to your customers about the best practices they see from your current competition and other players in different industries. This is an opportunity to learn about things your competition's doing, as well as people they work with in other industries. Next, while it's essential to stay in touch with how your best customers view your competition, it's equally important to talk to your customers who do more business with your competition. They will know what your competition is doing and will be able to provide more objective feedback to you on what your competition is doing better than you are doing. And lastly, and most importantly, talk to customers you do not have. Make sure you understand how your prospective customers view your competition. What are the best practices they experience? What do the competitors do that you're not willing to do or you're unable to do? And what would have to happen for them to consider your products or services? You will learn more about competitive threats from customers you don't have than you will ever learn from your best customers. So don't miss that opportunity. And the last thing I want to talk about is disruptive trends or disruption trends. Identifying potential disruption trends is one of the most crucial responsibilities of strategic planning, but it's also one of the more difficult things to do. But disruption is usually an opportunity long before it becomes a threat. So how can you identify disruption early in the process and capitalize on it? Yep, you guessed it. Listen to your customers. Disruption typically begins at the low end of the market via two different examples I'll share with you. The first is low-end disruption. So this is when lower-priced entrants enter the market with product that's good enough for the lower end of the traditional market, who are overserved by existing solutions. So they will cannibalize the lower end of the market with good enough products that are lower priced. The other market disruption is new market disruption. So this is when lower performance entrants enter the market, and they bring new customers into the market. Maybe customers who could not afford the product before or didn't have the skill set to use the product. So they've innovated this market in a way that it's either cheaper and more accessible, and they bring new customers into the market. So use customer insights to spot disruption trends by talking to them, by talking to customers at the lower end of your market, okay? So ask them what performance attributes are most important to them and what alternatives are they using to solve the job to be done. Next, talk with the customers you have lost and find out what substitute solutions or workarounds they're using. And lastly, look at new entrants to your market that bring new customers into the lower end of the market. Understand their value proposition and recognize that they may be lower performance now and not perceived as a current threat to your core market, but know that their performance will evolve and improve. It always does. And recognize that this will mean what it's going to mean to you as they grow their share along the way. So a customer-centric strategy is paramount to a successful business. And strategic planning is the perfect time to dive more deeply into understanding the market and identifying your opportunities by listening to the voice of your customer. So in my part 2 of my 3-part series on customer insights, I will share the 5 best practices to help you get the most from customer feedback. So be sure you sign up for my insights at fulfillingstrategy.com so you don't miss any of this valuable information. That's all I have for you today. So until next time, work well.